What's up, real MVPs? Ricky Widmer here, and welcome into another edition of MVP Sports Live right here. You may be watching us on Twitch for a short while, or you may be watching us on YouTube, which you will be for the foreseeable future, because we're never leaving YouTube. I am joined, as I always am, with my beautiful co-host, Jake Neverman. Jake, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm ready to talk some NFL, you know.
Jake's like, you're stepping all over my toes. I was going to ask you how you're doing.
How you doing? How you doing?
You ready to talk some NFL? Like we this whole week has just been NBA.
I love it.
For the rightful, well, I know you love it because we've been so NFL heavy for the last 2 weeks, and now it's just been NBA for this whole week. But yeah, I do have to say to start though that Twitch chat, I don't know what the hell you're saying right now. You could be calling me an idiot right now, and I do not know what Twitch chat is saying because yet again,
you should have let it happen the entire show.
Just let it go.
Not told him until the end.
Let Tim sit there and think that he's talking to us, and we're just ignoring him. That this was not recorded at 2:30 Central Time.
Straight to you, Tim. I hope that you don't know that we're ignoring you the entire show.
He's driving, and he's like, I can't see Jake look right into my soul because all I can do is hear him. But today what we're doing is we're kind of just reacting to the NFL schedule. Some takeaways we think, some good, some bad. What do we all think of the whole damn thing? Who's going to win the Super Bowl? Because we crown a champion as soon as the schedule is announced. That's just how Americans do things. But before we get into everything, quick housekeeping. Number one, if you haven't heard, you've been under a rock all year, or all week, and this is the first video you're checking out of MVP. We're moving to YouTube streaming. So Twitch, we're giving them the 2-week notice. After May 24th, we will be on YouTube full-time streaming. So go ahead and follow us at MVP Sports to make sure you're all in tune with when we go live, when we do on YouTube. If you want to join the Discord, it is the greatest community in the universe. We're always having conversations about all the sports we love to watch. That link is down below in the description, or exclamation Discord into Twitch chat. Get you that link. If you want to support us, patreon.com/MVPvids. That's how you can do that and be rewarded for doing so. Thank you to our Patreon sponsor, Pat Hill. And I don't have to say the last part because we're going to be on YouTube. MVP Sports. Go follow us, sub to us on YouTube. And Jake, first thing I want to ask you is when it comes to the NFL schedule, because there are some things I want to hit. I do want to hit who's got the toughest schedules, who's got the cupcake schedules, what do the primetime games look like. But the thing I want to ask you to start, is there anything from the NFL schedule that you are either very hyped about this year, or that you are not hyped about and you hate about what came out with the NFL schedule?
Not too much. I'm very hyped that the Saints got 5 primetime games because I was told after Drew Brees left that we were going to fade into obscurity and all that. But look, the Saints still have 5 primetime games.
It takes a year. This is Drew Brees earned you these primetime games. Let's see if Taysom Hill can keep them.
Jameis Winston. Thank you very much.
He can't keep them, so you're going to lose them.
He's going to keep them. I think the interesting one is Green Bay getting 5 primetime games because I think that basically tells us I think Aaron Rodgers is still going to be in Green Bay.
Let's be honest. 2 of those are against the Bears and the Vikings, where the NFL loves to put those games on primetime just because of the fan bases. So, because I made the joke to Dave, wow, look at that. The Bears and the Vikings got 2, Sunday night games? Yeah, wow, we got 2 Sunday night games. But notice how one of ours are both against the Packers. So it's like, hey, we get why. I think it was like the Giants and the Cowboys or something. And then it's like, hey, we both play the Packers on Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, and then the only other thing I was surprised was Jacksonville and the Jets only getting 1 primetime game each, which is pretty surprising, honestly, with Trevor Lawrence going to Jacksonville. Yeah, but Trevor Lawrence going to Jacksonville and Urban Meyer being their coach would have at least gained them, I think, at least 2 primetime games. I guess. And
their one is probably a Thursday night because everyone gets a Thursday night, right?
Yeah, I think everybody gets a Thursday night game. And, I mean, the Jets, it's pretty interesting, getting Zach Wilson, Robert Saleh coming in. They have a pretty bright future. They're going to be I think they're going to be an exciting team this year. So them only getting 1 game was pretty surprising to me.
Yeah, and I mean, the 2 things that I'm looking at that I'm like, with the schedule, number 1 is Brady's going back to Foxborough.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot wait for when Brady goes back to Foxborough. Because did you see the post that Tom Brady put up about it?
I did, yeah.
Where it was like the back of him walking into Gillette in a Bucks uni, and he's like, it's kind of like when your high school friends meet your college friends. No, it's more like when your ex-girlfriend sees you with your current girlfriend and sees you having a good time. Sees you having a good time, sees you have that engagement ring because you never wanted to commit with them.
I was gonna say it's like your wife finding one of your ex-wives, but then your new wife, you have like kids. Remember in what show am I thinking of that the guy, I can't, whatever it was, the guy had a kid with his new wife. It was Ted Lasso.
Yes.
And Ted Lasso.
Rupert.
And his old wife, he never wanted to have kids. That's what Tom Brady is. He's like, look at all these weapons I got, and you still have none.
Yeah. I mean, I can't wait for it. Because Bill Belichick's going to downplay it.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick said, it's just another opponent.
On Tampa.
On to Tampa. But Tom's coming in. Shouldn't it be on to Tom? On to Tampa Bay. I mean, Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay.
But like the only other thing, and yet again, I'm looking at a Ringer article. They said the first round quarterback matchups will be plentiful. ... Potentially, and they say for now the only rookie starters we can assume will face off are Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson when the Jags meet the Jets in Week 16. But there are some other rookie duels on the menu as well. If some first round passers can win starting jobs early enough, we could see Trey Lance and Justin Fields Week 8. We could see Lance Lawrence in Week 11. We could see Mac Jones and Zach Wilson twice when the Patriots and the Jets play. Do you think any of these matchups besides Jets and Jags with Lawrence and Zach Wilson, do you think they happen? Like, Justin Fields, is he going to play by Week 8? How early is Trey Lance going to play? I mean, Mac Jones, he might win that starting job early if Cam gets injured.
Definitely should. I think the Trey Lance and Justin Fields has a pretty good outside shot of happening. I think Justin Fields is in the job by then. Question is Jimmy Garoppolo healthy and still in the job by Week 8? That would be good. That would be so entertaining though to see Justin Fields and Trey Lance. It'd be like two of my kids facing off on opposite teams. You know what I mean?
Would you not know who to root for?
I'd root for Justin Fields. That's that's pretty simple. It goes Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, Kellen Mond. But we're not going to see Kellen Mond this year. So I think the Niners and Bears is an interesting one. I'm very excited for the Week 16. Hopefully Lawrence and Wilson are still playing at that point, which is again, with 17 games, we're now going 18 weeks in the regular season.
Yep.
Question is, are they eliminated at that point? Are they benching their quarterbacks? Are they quote unquote hurt at that point? So that would be interesting to see. I like rookie quarterback matchups, but I don't think we'll get them in plentiful amounts this year.
Yeah, and I mean that's the thing where it's like I hope we do see Justin Fields earlier than we think. I hope we see Trey Lance. Sorry, Jimmy Garoppolo. Sorry, Red Rocket. I just saw this. And this is interesting to me. This kind of can lead us into teams with the easiest schedules this year. Should we take into account anything about the Cowboys and the Eagles both having the fewest amount of games against 2020 playoff teams? They each only play 5 playoff teams each from a year ago. That means what? If we're going to have 17 games now, if my math is right, that's 12 other opponents that did not make the playoffs. So, we'll start there. Cowboys, Eagles, how much of an advantage is that for them this year?
It's definitely an advantage, but I think you have to look at it. Obviously, they're going to have 4 giveaway games against teams not in the playoffs because their division was terrible last year, and they. But I mean, this is how we see teams take the next level. Is they have these easier schedules because they were so bad the year prior, and then they get to elevate their teams and elevate their records. And Daniel Jones, this should be a confidence booster year. This is his do or die year. I mean, I think most people expect this to either go. I don't know which way you expect it to go, but with Daniel Jones, it's going to go one way or other. He's either not going to be a Giant next year, or he's going to be the starting quarterback again. Obviously, avoiding injuries, that's a whole different discussion. But the Giants are interesting. The Cowboys, obviously, they were really hurt last year. I think the Cowboys, in my mind, would probably be the favorites in this division to win it, with Dak healthy, hopefully. I think that's a huge plus, only playing 5 playoff teams, I think you said. So I'm interested to see with that division. I don't know if it's a huge advantage because I don't think either of the teams are that good. And then looking at the year prior, obviously not playing playoff teams from the year prior helps.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean everything because of everything, all the movement we've seen this offseason and different quarterbacks going to different places. So while it matters and it's definitely somewhat an advantage, I wouldn't call it a massive one.
Yeah, and I mean the one thing I'm gonna look into really quick is, let's see, I'm gonna pull up the Cowboys schedule because the one thing I'm noticing from the CBS article that I'm looking at is like, for example, out of the bottom two easiest schedules are Eagles and Cowboys. Eagles at 32, Cowboys at 31. Then you have you go up, Giants are at 25. Washington football team is a little bit higher, at tied for 15, 14 in that range. And the thing that blows my mind, if CBS is right here, is how the hell did the Bucs get the 27, the 29th easiest schedule?
Yeah.
Is this something to where, because I look at the top and hardest schedules, you have the Bears at 3, Packers at 4, Vikings at 5, Lions at 6. Did the NFL do a bad job with this division plays this division? Because I know I bring up the NFC North, they play the NFC West this year. So what, you're playing potentially 4 playoff teams? Or 4 teams that will all be vying for the playoffs, and not all of them will be able to get in, to where it's I got to look up what divisions the East is playing.
Yeah.
I just look at it and I go, your Super Bowl champion should not have one of the top 5 easiest schedules for next year.
While I agree, this is why I take these rankings of toughest schedules with a grain of salt this year, because you go through the Buccaneers schedule. They play the Cowboys, who now have Dak Prescott back. That's not an easy game.
Good point.
Play the Falcons, who are probably going to be bad. So but that's a division. You can't help that. Play the LA Rams, who are probably going to be one of the best teams in the NFL this year. I think most people expect that. Patriots, who are supposed to be on a resurgence with Mac Jones this year. Obviously, we talked about that already. The Dolphins, we don't know what we're going to get at Tua. They play the Bears, the Saints, the football team, the Colts, the Bills, the Saints again. And then the end of the season is pretty easy for them. 2 Panthers and the Jets. So while it definitely is easier than other teams, I think these rankings are questionable because nobody really knows and everybody has different evaluations on these teams.
You bring up the East, and with Dak Prescott, is the NFC East's rankings of how their schedule is easy or not, is it, I don't want to say inflated's not the word I'm looking for, but
deflated,
not deflated either. Is
Tom Brady's footballs.
Is it a mirage to where it's yeah, based off of last year, this is how it would be, but like you said, Dak Prescott's coming back. The Eagles don't have Carson Wentz. These teams are all different, or it's will the Cowboys be better than they were last year? They should be better than they were last year. But
a lot better than they were last year.
How will these teams be different, to where will the NFC least still be the least this year? Or will it be the beast like it was before? Or will it be the Cowboys and everyone else?
Yeah, I don't think it'd be the Cowboys and everybody else because the football team's defense is too good not to win games. And the Giants are a giant question mark, but they could end up being a very surprising team this year if Daniel Jones puts himself together. I mean, adding Kenny Golladay and Kadarius Toney to that offense and getting Saquon Barkley back healthy, who they didn't have last year, there's a lot of change going on in that division. And that division is going to be probably, honestly, the most interesting one to watch because while we know the NFC West has an abundance of talent, the NFC South has an abundance of talent, the NFC East was made a laughing stock last year, and now getting to look at them this year from a different perspective and having all these different Daniel Jones staying at quarterback, the football team have a new quarterback, the Cowboys get their quarterback back, and the Eagles are going in the year with a different quarterback. So it's a completely different situation. Now, do I think any of these teams are going to be elite? Probably not, unless the football team get a surprising output from the quarterback position. I don't think it's that much different. But this division is going to be tough to play. Not that they're great teams, but playing against the football team with how good of a defense they have they're going to be annoying to play every week. If you play against the Giants, the offensive weapons and the versatility they have with their offense and how many different looks they can give you is going to be scary. And then the Cowboys are still the Cowboys. They don't have blown away amount of talent, but they have very solid amounts of talent in all areas of the field. So it's gonna be interesting. And who am I leaving out? The Eagles. They're just a giant question mark because nobody knows. And Howie Roseman and their owner kind of like been made laughing stocks in Philly now, and I mean everybody basically wants them out. So that'll be interesting to watch that whole division. While I get why they're helping other teams' strength of schedules, I wouldn't necessarily agree with it to the degree it's gone.
Yeah, and I mean the thing that you mentioned where you're talking about how like that's the most interesting division to watch. For me, the most interesting division is not in the NFC; it's in the AFC. It's the AFC South. And the reason why is I feel like the AFC South this year, Titan fans might get mad at me here. I think it's going to be one team and then everyone else. Because the Texans stink. The Jaguars will be fun to watch, but they stink. They'll get better, but they stink right now. The Titans, probably the only team that might be like them and the Colts, I think is what it's going to be.
Yeah.
And the thing I look at is this Colts schedule. They have, ranking wise, yet again, you said take it with a grain of salt. One of the easier ones, like when you're playing Houston twice, when you're playing Jacksonville twice. I know some games people might say are hard, like they play Seattle to start the season, but yet again, that Seattle defense stinks, and it's not in Seattle. The Rams will be tough. Miami, what are we going to see from them? Baltimore, what are we going to see from them this year? They play the Jets, which should be a win. In Buffalo, like the 2-game stretch of at Buffalo and then home to play the Buccaneers, those are going to be fun games to watch. And then like to end the year, by what would that be? By week 15, what do the Patriots look like? What do the Cardinals look like? The Raiders, are they out of it? Jacksonville, are they out of it? To where it's like, I feel like this Colts team, it may be the perfect surge of, we've got an easier schedule. Our division's not really tough. So those are 4 wins right there that we can get over the Texans and the Jaguars. And this could be a team that people mistake for a Super Bowl favorite because of their record at the end of the year.
That's a fair point. I think we fall into that trap every year of teams that have high records but don't win in the playoffs. And if you look at the NBA right now, it's the same thing with like a Utah Jazz. Like, we look at this team and they're very good during the regular season, but the regular season and the playoffs are a completely different animal. I mean, we've seen it with the Saints. That like, should have the Saints made a Super Bowl a couple years ago? Yes, but we've seen this time and time again where we have these 12 and 13 win teams go into the playoffs and just get demolished. I mean, defense is not as important in the regular season because you can get into shootouts and it's whatever. Yeah. In the playoffs, defense becomes nearly everything.
Yeah, because it's one game.
And it's ball security. It's ball security and defense in the playoffs. I mean, unless you have Patrick Mahomes, you can't be won by a single player or almost won by a single player. So, yeah, I think that's a trap we fall into a lot with teams is falling into the Super Bowl favorites because they're good during the regular season.
Yeah. One schedule I do want to ask you about. Did someone come in your room?
I don't know.
I just see Jake look behind and then throw up the hands like.
I feel like I heard a door, but I didn't hear a door. I guess.
One schedule I want to ask you about because I did watch a video this morning from your buddy, your pal, your favorite guy in the whole wide world, Trey Lance's father-in-law, Colin Cowherd. He was ragging on the Browns' schedule. And for those of you who don't know it off the top of your head and have not memorized it already, how dare you? It's only been a day. You should already have this memorized. Their schedule is the following. Week 1, they're at Kansas City. Week 2, home against Houston. Week 3, they play the Bears at home. Week 4, they're in Minnesota to play the Vikings. Week 5, they're on the road to play the Chargers. Week 6, they're playing Arizona at home. 7, Denver at home. Week 8, Pittsburgh at home. 9, they're on the road in Cincinnati. Then they're on the road in New England. Week 11, they're at home to play the Lions. Week 12, they are on the road to play Baltimore. Then a bye week. Then week 14, they play Baltimore at home. Then the Raiders at home week 15. Packers on the road 16. Pittsburgh on the road 17. And week 18, the Cincinnati Bengals. Do you agree with Colin Cowherd? Did the NFL not do the Browns any favors this year?
I mean, it's not that like it's not an easy schedule, but by no means that I look at that schedule and be like,
this also might be a grain of salt because Jake thinks the Steelers are going to stink.
That also, I think the Steelers, and that's stink. I said like 8 wins. All right, that's not stink.
No more 8-win teams.
Oh,
no more 8-8s.
Well, you can still win 8 games.
No, it's no longer 8-8. We got the
no, it's 8-9. That's 8-9.
Yeah, but no more 8-8.
Yeah.
8-9.
Yeah.
Like, what are they going to be, an 8-9 team then?
Well, if they want to go, if they want to go 8-8, just find a way to hire Jeff Fisher.
Or 8-8-1. They got to tie a game.
8-8-1.
8-8-1.
Looking at the schedule, Chiefs are tough. Obviously, anybody who has the Chiefs are going to be tough. But Texans, Bears, Vikings, Chargers, Cardinals. That's a streak where you probably can win 4 or 5. So I'm not like. The Broncos also, so you could, and the Steelers, you could probably win 7 of 8 like that in that time frame if you play one. I'm sorry, and then they play the Bengals. I mean, through 9 weeks, I would think the Browns are probably favored in 8 of those matchups outside of the Chiefs, and then you play the Patriots, who are a giant question mark, and then you play the Lions, who they'd be wild favorites over the Lions.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the season, you play the Raiders, Packers, Steelers, Bengals. Outside of the Packers, they should be favored in every game going into that, obviously, depending on health. So I this is why I don't buy into Colin Cowherd's nonsense when he talks like that. I would think the Browns have a good enough schedule.
The NFL did the Browns no favors. I'm Colin Cowherd, and I need to rag on the Browns because it's my job, and I hate Baker Mayfield. I'm a Trey Lance guy.
Here you go. Let's just count. Ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 12 games they're probably going to be favored in. Mm-hmm. So obviously you're not going to win all 12 games you're favored in. You'll lose a couple there. But then you'll win a couple games that you're not favored in. The Browns are probably going to be predicted to be around 11 to 13 wins just based on the schedule. I don't know what he's complaining about. It's an old man shouting at the sky.
Let's see. So I'm pulling up the old Soapy Cover Your Ears. I'm pulling up the old FanDuel app because the bet, no, I do not want to bet on week 1 games yet. It's way too close into that one. Let's see. Win totals. That's what I'm looking for. The over-under for the Cleveland Browns this year. Would you hammer down then plus 100 over 10.5 for the Browns?
Yeah, I'd wait till we get a little bit closer to the season, but that seems like a pretty good bet to me.
So I shouldn't put a $5 bet on that right now.
Hey, you do you, man.
I mean, like, you look at it and it goes, so, like, out of the teams we talked about, even, like, the Cowboys, they're 9.5. But, like, the plus odds are with the under 9.5, not over. And the Colts, they are also at 9.5. However, the plus odds is with the under with that one. Moving into primetime games, were there any primetime games that spoke to you? Sunday, Mondays, Thursdays?
Thanksgiving.
Bears, Lions?
Bills, Saints.
Oh.
That's going to be a good game. I mean, I know people want to rag on the Saints this year or whatever, but Saints continue to win when Sean Payton's the coach. It's just a simple fact. So seeing the Bills, who are like this young and upcoming defensive stout team with, I mean, Josh Allen, this young stud quarterback, coming into New Orleans, and the Saints tweeted "Bring the tables" with the Jelly Boys tweet whenever they thought the Thanksgiving tweet. That's a great one. I think the best overall, I'll have to look at it again, but I'm pretty sure it's the Chiefs and the Bills week 6. Could be wrong. That is going to be a hell of a game because I think that's 2 of, if not the 2 best young quarterbacks in the NFL, and probably 2 of the best teams in the NFL this upcoming year. So that might be an AFC Championship preview. Who knows? Maybe you'll see our predictions in a couple months. Maybe that'll be my AFC title game. Who knows? But yeah, I think that's a very interesting game. I'm always any game with Patrick Mahomes. I'm tuning in anyways. And then you add a Josh Allen effect. I think that'll be a great game.
I feel like overall Sunday Night Football might be my place to go for primetime this year because like it's one of the things where to start the season, Buccaneers and Cowboys, you get to see this defending Super Bowl champs. Let's see what Dak Prescott looks like. But like after that, like Bears Rams should be good. 2 good defenses. Let's see what Andy Dalton looks like. But like week 2, Ravens Chiefs should be good. Niners Packers should have all the storylines in the world. Patriots Bucks. Tom Brady basically hosting his former team. Chiefs Bills, another playoff matchup. Even like, I mean, Steelers Seahawks might take a snooze fest on that one. Doesn't entertain me, but like the way they close the year too, you've got just divisional matchups galore. Ravens Browns, Seahawks Niners, Bears Packers, Bucks Saints, which should be a great game. Washington Dallas, and then Chicago Minnesota week 17, with that week 18 being the flex, probably whoever's got the playoff seeding.
It's Green Bay, Minnesota, week 17.
Yeah, what did I say?
Chicago.
I meant Minnesota.
I know. That's why I was
Green Bay, Minnesota. Yeah, they're going to play. Green Bay and Chicago are going to play 3 times this year. That's what's going to happen.
I don't think you want that.
No, I don't think so either.
I don't think you want that.
But like Sunday night may be the best primetime schedule out of all of them.
Thursday night's the worst again, which is not shocking.
See, but here's the thing about Thursday, and we'll get into this conversation. I'll ask you about, should the NFL have the contract of every team gets one Thursday night game?
No, they shouldn't. I know, like, you want to breed small market growth or whatever, but that's all a bunch of malarkey. I'll keep it clean on this one. It's a bunch of malarkey.
Joe's thanking you.
We know that that's not the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And you just have to be good to get a primetime game. I think that's how it should stay and how they should change it.
Now, I will say, if they want to make the rule of every team gets one primetime game, meaning one out of Thursday, Sunday, Monday, you just get one of those, fine. Yeah. Like, I get it. You want, like, there are people out there, like, yet again, it's different. Back in the day, it was like but what if I don't have cable? Now the internet's a thing.
But, like, week 4, they're throwing out Jaguars, Bengals. I'm sorry to JD, Bengals fan. No one gives a damn about the Jaguars versus the Bengals week 4.
Let's be honest. Week 2, they're throwing out Texans, Panthers.
Yeah,
that's not a great game. Like, Texans, Panthers suck. Bengals, Jaguars ain't gonna get me to watch. Like, here's the thing: Eagles, Bucks. Bucks are gonna be a good team to watch. Do I want to see them beat down on the Eagles? Like, really. How many of these games on Thursday do you look at and you go, wow, that's going to be a competitive game? Maybe Packers Cardinals, maybe Dolphins Ravens, Bills Saints will be a good one, but it's a Thanksgiving game. Of course, it's going to be a good, highly tested game.
That doesn't count. Yeah.
I mean, maybe Saints Cowboys, depending on how the Cowboys are. Chargers Chiefs should be good. Titans, Niners, Packers, Browns, and then so like what? 8 of them, and most of them come at the end of the year when it's like, man, we're getting these, and 2 of them are on Saturdays.
Yeah, I just think like, and I think we had this conversation kind of yesterday. We were watching old basketball games, and we were talking about how like special it was that you would only hear that music in that prime time one time a week, maybe a midday game too. But now we're just so saturated with. We have 1 o'clock games, we have 4 o'clock games, we have a Thursday night game, we have a Sunday night game, we have a Monday night game. Instead of like, you have all the games, and then you have a Sunday night game. Yeah. Like that was what it used
also,
to be.
Like now with Red Zone, like back in the day, for me, it was, I had Sunday, it was basically whatever time the Bears were playing. I had that game on Fox. So whether it was late afternoon or early afternoon, you had that game. You had basically 2 games in the afternoon, Fox, CBS. 2 games in the afternoon, Fox, CBS. Then a Sunday night game, a Monday night game, and that's it.
You know, I think it's interesting too. It's completely not to do with the NFL and not scheduling, but I think you've seen a lot of growth in fandom, like outside of your favorite of where you live, because of how accessible all these games are, and how accessible and how many primetime games there are. Yeah. Because like. Oh, but I think we've had this conversation before, like talking about if you're from some people think it's wrong to not root for a single city in every sport and only root for that city. But I think because of the growth of the game, this is a positive towards the NFL and how accessible every game is and how easy it is to watch highlights or watch the game live or whatever it is. That's why we're seeing such a growth. And like a guy like JD, who's from Canada, can be a Cincinnati Bengals fan because of how accessible the league is. It's one of the very few things that Roger Goodell's good at.
Yeah, I mean, because like I'm thinking, like back in the day, it was mainly because the internet wasn't a thing, right?
Yep.
It's like you just rooted for how you were raised. You were raised by Bears fans, you're going to be a Bears fan. Or you'd be
Fred.
like, wow, I fucking hate this. I just hate football in general.
Yeah, sorry, Fred.
That could also happen as well.
Fred being a Mets fan, I'm a Yankees fan.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Fred.
I mean, now at the internet, and even like you mentioned, Red Zone, we're like, I throw on Red Zone. I have every fucking game at my disposal on Sunday.
Yep.
My dad hates it, by the way, because he'll always be like, but I was watching that game. I was like, Dad, there's nothing going on in that game. This game's in the red zone. Like, this game, this team is driving. He goes, yeah, but I was watching that game. It's like, yeah, but nothing was fucking happening.
If they score, they'll go back to that game and show you what happened.
It's like, they were going to kick a field goal. Do you want to see a field goal or this touchdown drive?
Red Zone is the single greatest sports invention of the last...
I wish they had an equivalent to the NBA. Like, I don't know if it's possible, though. Yeah.
It's just too tough. Like, the MLB kind of has it. They're attempting to do it, but football is really the only sport you can do it. I mean, you can do it with...
Baseball should be the easiest. Because you got the studio guys, and it's like, we're just going to bring you to a game when there's actually action.
That's why when I was a kid, like MLB Network, MLB Tonight was the shit. Yep. I swear. But hey, MLB Tonight was the greatest thing because...
Even Baseball Tonight on ESPN when they had that.
But like, it was like probably like 7 or 8 years ago, MLB Network had kind of just started. It started expanding, and they were doing MLB Tonight every night, and I would just watch that with the Yankee game on the side, and they would just cut to games and cut and do like commentary in between, and then cut back to. It was so good.
Yeah, I mean, I think they still do it now.
It's just not the same.
Because whenever I watch Hammer Don and the Pat McAfee boys, they're always talking about how they're watching MLB TV. For their broadcasts during games. But, like, I mean, I think Red Zone's the greatest thing ever because now it's like I feel like we do see more of, like, I live in Chicago, but I'm rooting for the Steelers kind of a thing.
Yep, I agree. I think it's good for the sport. Turning back to the schedule and the primetime games, while we're saturated with primetime games, it isn't a terrible thing that all teams get exposure, and I get why they do it. I just wish the games were more enticing for me to want to watch because there's so many times last season that I was like, look at that Thursday night game. Nah, I'm good. I'm not watching that. Yeah, and I just tuned into something else.
It was more of a like, or you get in your brain, you already know it's a shit matchup, so you even forget about it, and then you go, fuck, I had so-and-so in that game. I didn't want to play him in fantasy. Or like, fuck, I had this guy on a bye, and I had him in my bench, and he played on Thursday kind of a thing. You just completely forget about it, because you're like, your brain is like, I don't have to focus on that information, because it's a shit game.
Yeah, I think one of the things I want to talk about is I think we stay away from Homer takes sometimes, but I have to ask you straight up about the Vikings schedule.
All right, let me pull.
What do you think about the Vikings schedule this year?
Now,
what are your expectations looking at the schedule?
I will tell you this, Jake. Yeah. This is the first time I am looking at it in depth.
Okay.
I did not. I'll be honest. I did not look at their schedule in depth. I looked at the primetime games. I looked at who's got like the strength of schedule. Like this is one where starting on. I'll go right through it. Like starting off in Cincinnati should be a win. Should be a win. If we lose that game, blow it up. Season's over. Start Kellen Mond. That's what I'm gonna be saying if we lose.
You can't start a quarterback who needs to sit for a while.
Nope. Start Kellen Mond.
Oh my!
It'll help him by being in the actual game if we lose to the Bengals. Cardinals should be a good one. They're going to be a good team. They actually go back to Houston this year. J.J. Watt and DeAndre Hopkins. That should be a good one. But Cardinals, Vikings should be good. Seattle, that game's going to tear my heart out. The refs will find a way to fuck us in that game because they always do. Whenever Seattle comes to town or we go to Seattle, there's always a penalty that should go against Seattle that doesn't get called. It just always happens in a Vikings-Seahawks game. So that's how week 3 is going to go. Then we'll probably lose week 4 because the Browns will be better this year. Hopefully we'll rebound and beat the Lions. If we don't beat the Panthers, I am going to be panicking.
You're 4-3 right now. Wait,
are
you 4-3 right now? No.
I would say 3-3 or 3-4, 3-4,
3-3, 3.
Yeah, 3-3 after 6. 3-3 after 6. Going into the bye, that's okay. Dallas, that might be a good game this year because Dak is back. Maybe it's a loss. I don't know. Maybe it's a tie.
We'll go with the loss. We'll go worst case scenario. We'll go 3-4 right now.
Baltimore at Baltimore.
3-5. Don't have to say it.
I don't know what to think there. The Chargers with Air Bear on the road, like new coach. We might win that one though. Green Bay's a loss. I mean, it's at home. We might split with Green Bay. But Green Bay is going to be tough. San Francisco will be tough. The Lions we should sweep the Lions, but MCDC might split with us this year. Steelers are tough, and that's a Thursday night game. Bears on Monday night, that's a loss. They always beat us on Monday night. And like, I hate the end of our schedule. Pittsburgh, Chicago, LA, Green Bay, Chicago. Just fucking kill me.
So like 5 or 6 wins is what we're looking at for the Vikings.
I swear this is going to happen. You ready? Mm-hmm. Just because it's me and God hates me. So Vikings are going to be good enough to be tied or like in the race with the Packers, to be like in the division hunt. We will lose week 17. Packers will win the division. Then we'll have to play the Bears week 18. And it's like, oh, if the Vikings lose this, they're out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
And that will happen.
Yeah, the Vikings are an interesting team this year. I'm interested. I like to hear a fan's perspective on their schedule because it's a little bit, looking from the outside, there's a giant question mark.
The only thing I can tell you without a doubt for sure is that the refs will fuck us in that Seattle game one way or another.
Well, as from one team that loves getting fucked by the refs to another, I can understand.
It's just like when the Vikings play the Saints, Jake. You know what I'm talking about.
I don't remember them ever playing the Saints.
Or when the Saints play the Rams.
When did they ever do that?
That was probably the more egregious of the
you think?
No calls.
You think our guy got murdered and got screwed out of a Super Bowl appearance? Yeah, a little bit.
Oh man! And you know what probably sucks even most about that?
What, Ricky?
The Rams didn't even show up to that Super Bowl.
We would have won the Super Bowl.
The Rams didn't even fucking show up to the Super Bowl.
I think you guys are lucky that the Saints did make the Super Bowl that year, because if Breeze made the Super Bowl and beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl,
I would have never heard the end of it.
No, he would have had 2 rings, and the 2 rings would have been against Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. I would have called him the GOAT for the rest of my lifetime. I would not have given a damn.
I would have loved that, though.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want Tom Brady to be the GOAT.
I won't go as in depth with you with the Saints, but Saints have a lot of winnable games this year.
Do you think they win the division?
Yes, I do think they win the division. They've won it 4 years in a row. Why would that change now?
No, man. Falcons. Kyle Pitts. He's coming for it.
For first, third, or fourth, yeah. I mean, Green Bay week 1 is going to be tough. Green Bay usually beats the Saints in primetime, so I'd probably go 0-1. But then you get the Panthers, the Patriots, and the Giants in the football team. I think those are 4 winnable games. You have the Seahawks, another winnable game. I'm not saying they're going to win it, but those are 5 stretches where it's winnable, not winning. But then you have the Bucs, which is going to be the big game. Falcons, Titans, Eagles, all winnable games again. Titans are good. I'm very questionable on how good the Titans are actually going to be this year, though. I don't. They're a giant question mark when you look at them. The Bills, that's a tough game. Cowboys, Jets, again, 2 more winnable games. And then the Buccaneers are again tough. But then you end the season with the Dolphins, Panthers, Falcons. I think those are all 3 winnable games. I know people are going to call me delusional and be a homer and all that, but Saints defense is still going to be top 5 in the league most likely, and Sean Payton wins. Maybe not in the postseason as much, even though a lot of them have not really been his fault. The regular season, they're always there, and they've won 4 straight division titles, and I think it's going to be 5.
Jake's like, it's going to be 5. Well, really, the big question is who in that division is going to stand up to you?
The Bucs. The Bucs will be there, just like they were last year, but should we bring in the cliff conversation with Tom Brady? When is that cliff coming?
No, we're not Max Kellermaning. I'll be honest, I forgot the Bucs were in your division for a second. I just thought they were all on their own. They're in their own division with Tom Brady.
It's a 2-team division. I think that's pretty simple and pretty known. Obviously, with the Bucs, I think you get a little bit of a Super Bowl hangover to start the year. Not bad, but probably a little bit
Tom
2 and
Brady
2.
Eating too much avocado ice cream, binging on the avocado ice cream over the offseason.
You see the Bucs like a little 2 and 2, 3 and 2 start maybe, and then they go what they do, win 13 games or whatever. But the Falcons, I think, are a non-party in this division. Again, I get they'll probably start hot like they always do, and then except for last year, obviously, and then they'll fade away and fall into obscurity like they always do because Matt Ryan's washed and their defense always gets hurt every year. And the Panthers, like I said, Sam Darnold went from being the worst quarterback in his division to again being the worst quarterback in his division. So they're not a party. Did you hear, by the way? Sorry, did you hear the
last? I was going to ask you if you had any final thoughts anyway. So go ahead.
Oh, did you see the Teddy Bridgewater interview?
No.
Where he was like, when I was in Carolina, we didn't even practice 2-minute drills. Like that wasn't something that came up in practice. I was like,
because their coach is a stooge and only knows defense.
Oh, and also they it's completely different from the college game and the NFL game. I saw somebody write a tweet about this. Is that in college games aren't really decided by 2-minute drills that often. Usually games are over by then because that's just how the level of difference and talent. And then you look at the NFL and how many games are made in the last 2 minutes. I mean, basically every game in the playoffs, unless it's a blowout, is made in the last 2 minutes. So
yeah,
I think that's a very interesting note from Matt Rule's coaching tenure in Carolina to see how it goes.
I honestly think he's a stooge. Like,
yeah, I think like Sam Darnold's numbers will be better this year just because Joe Brady, but I don't think that team wins games still. Yeah. Like obviously they'll win some games, but like I don't think they're a good team still. It's just simple. Carolina's so far away, I think, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I look at it and I just go like, I look at his draft, and I look at basically like everything that I basically look at it this way. I look at the way he's drafted and I look at that team and I go, I don't see them being good under Matt Rule.
Nope.
I don't see it. The thing that you said is interesting. Like him coaching at Baylor compared to coaching at Carolina, two totally different things because college is different than the NFL, folks.
I think the last thing we got to do is I got to go through the Bears schedule and tell Bears fans how many
wins will Justin Fields have this year? As starter for the Bears week 1.
Love Justin Fields, but LA Rams week 1 loss. Bengals. See, that's a tough one. I think the Bengals Bears Kobe is a little 50-50. I'll go with the Bears just to be nice. The Lions should be a win. The Raiders should be a win. So they're going to be sitting there at like, and the Browns I skipped, they're going to be a loss at like 3-2, feeling real good about themselves. Yeah. And they go into this stretch of Green Bay, Tampa, and San Francisco. Those are all going to be losses. 3-5. You're going to the Steelers. Steelers suck. 4 wins. The Ravens, that's a loss. The Lions, it's a win. That's 5. Cardinals is a loss. Green Bay is a loss. You said Monday Night Football, they always beat the Vikings. So that's 6 wins. Seattle might not be great this year. That's probably a loss. The Giants, I think that'll be a good game, maybe a 50-50. I'll give them a win. And then the Vikings, I'll give them a loss. So I went 50-50 on some of them. One with 7 wins for the Vikings. I think that's the upside you see for the Vikings for the Bears this year. Justin Fields, I'm excited to see. Love Justin Fields. Team is far away.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just I'm excited that we have a schedule out there. I can't wait to dive in. What I was gonna do last night, but then I didn't, Jake, was I'm going to go through every schedule, and I'm going to give you my Super Bowl early winner right now. And then I looked at it, and I went, nah, I'll do it later.
Then we started watching classic games, and we watched the Step Over Allen Iverson game in the finals. Yes. Great time.
Also, to end the show before we wrap everything up, because this is the football show today, Jake, I'm going to ask you, guess the surprising score right now between Dortmund and Leipzig.
Is it 2-0 Leipzig?
It is 3-0 Dortmund. Oh. I know, right? That was my reaction. I just saw that on ESPN, and I went, what? Like, people were expecting Leipzig to win that game. Erling Haaland, I think, scored twice.
Once. Jadon Sancho was 2.
Yeah, that was it.
How about the coach from Leipzig is going to Bayern?
Yep.
And Bayern had to pay like $25 million to get him to come coach.
Yeah.
It's like buying a player, but he's a coach.
Yeah.
Wild story. Football fans, I bet you're loving this.
Wild story. Hey, it's all football. It's football.
Football.
It's all the same.
We just did a show on American football, and now we're talking about football.
This is what I'll end the show with, Jake. So, one of my parlays today, guess how much money I won?
65 cents.
Nope, got my money back because they were 2 draw, no bets. And both teams drew. I just checked. I was like, I'm going to check the real Betis score. No, my $3. I got my $3 back because Everton and Betis drew today. And they were draw, no bets. Oh, man. At least I got the money back and I didn't lose it. But that's going to do it for us today. Thank you for checking us out. Pre-recorded edition. Sorry, Twitch chat. I don't know what over here. I don't know what the hell you're saying. You could be typing anything to me and I can't see it right now. Actually, that's a lie. Jake can't see it. I can. Because future me is sitting at the computer right now, not hearing anything I'm saying, by the way. Because Streamlabs doesn't play the audio for me. So I'm just sitting here reading your comments. Maybe I'll talk back today. Maybe I'll type back, but I probably won't. Because I'm going to probably be setting my NBA bets.
I'll be knee deep in some pasta. I'm not.
Yeah, I'm probably going to be setting an NBA parlay for today during the show. But thank you guys for checking out the show. Join the Discord. Link down below in the description or exclamation Discord into Twitch chat. If you want to support us, patreon.com/MVPvids is how you can go ahead and do that. Thank you to our Patreon sponsor, Pat Hill. We're going over to YouTube May 24th. We'll no longer be on Twitch, so make sure to sub to us on MVP Sports. Jake and I will be back tomorrow. Have we decided if we're going to do NBA or MLB?
We haven't, but I also need to say, Soapy, that's how you do an outro, just so you know. That's
not me or you?
No, you. That's no, you. I would say the damp it, the what? Damn it! No, the wet voice.
I loved his comeback yesterday when he was like, when he threw it right back in Dave's face, and he's like, you know what, Dave? You said it's the charm. I got a whole lot of charm right now. Like that was Soapy's got the one-liners, and that was a great one-liner, throwing it right back at Dave. But yeah, I mean, it's an outro. It's not that hard. We'll get there.
You'll see what we're gonna do tomorrow. We're gonna throw it up in the air.
All right. It's either gonna be NBA or MLB. It's gonna be one of the two. Or do we hybrid it? No, let's not hybrid it.
Ooh, we could do like a 30-minute.
We could do two shows. Hybrid. We could do 2 30-minute shows.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say 2 shows. I was like
2 hour-long shows, just like we did for the NFL draft special.
NFL draft, I'm cool doing that. That's fine.
That is going to do it for us. Thank you guys for being as great as you always are. And as always, have a good day, everybody.
Bye.